Greetings and welcome. Everybody just join me in breath. It was really unclear to me how much talking or not to do today. And so I'm just going to drop right into the concepts held in this collective field acoustic sound chamber, the concepts of space and grace. And if each person just arrives as fully as they can, and gently and tenderly into this now moment, into their physical space, into their sensorial experience of right now. Good, good. Good. A nice big deep breath. Another nice big deep breath, right? Really good. There are many considerations that went into the two title, well, it's a 3-word title, but 2-concept title of this tuning, which are space and grace. And one of the things that I often say in session with clients is really noting how in so many ways we don't have to know what we're doing, right? We don't have to come up with some masterful solution to whatever we're working with in session. In session, what we have to do is create the space in the field, but internally for the solution, right? Or for the maneuvering, to have space to arrive, to emerge in the client's field. And that happens whenever it does. Often it emerges in life outside of session, right? It's not the lightning strike aha moment. It is, in fact, the emerging of a different energetic, a different way to be, a different understanding, a slightly finessed intention, right? That they bring into their lives because of the space we created. And then therein lies the resultant change, right? Or shift or catharsis or whatever. Mm. Mm. And lately, depending on anybody's particular specifics, like all the considerations that people are holding, all the details, all the minutia, all the nuances that people are considering in their own life, they're representing themselves, as I see them, quote unquote, as strands of like hemp in a rope. And just, and those sort of, I guess new nylon ropes are sort of made with the same. It's not a braiding so much as it is a twisting, and then each twisted cable then twists around each other, right? So the resultant tensile strength is impressive. But if you imagine being one of those fibers, the pressure and the lack of maneuverability, right, which is why croaks reap first day with the new language. That's why ropes creak, right? With the wind strained, because it's already compressed spaces, then even compressing or being manipulated ever so slightly more so. And that results in a sound. And so if you've ever cut a little section of rope and instead of pulling on it, then sort of compressed it towards each other, each one of those filaments, right, it starts to unwind a little bit and just create a little bit more space in there, a little bit more space. And so, in that way, did we change the difficult relationship or the overly stressful job or the not beautifully functional boss or the, whatever, the rent coming due, the mounting costs of medical care? Did we change any one of those in session? No, that's not changeable by us in session. But we created more space, and then things do happen. Like, interestingly enough, new clients came to me, and after I think a year and a half of looking for a new home for themselves and their young sons, we created safety and grace for their emotionality. I saw both the husband and the wife. And we created a degree of coherence and harmony in each one of their fields. And then after months and months and months and months of being outbid and stressing and school districts and all of the things, they popped into my awareness. And so I sent the wife an email. And within like 3 weeks, they had bought, closed on, and were moving into a house that Wednesday. I'm not a realtor. I didn't hook them up with a house in that session, either of them. But the space and the grace created in their field, and thusly in the way they moved, made all the difference. It made all the difference. And this is potent. This is concretely impactful, right? I think in Buddhism, they call it the middle path. Tara Brach might call it the third way. Or is that Jungian psychologist? I can't remember. There's But even at that, that's like there's even more than 3 ways, right? It's not binary and, oh, maybe a potentially emergent. One of my teachers, Eileen McCusick, the founder of Biofield Tuning, she says that truth has 144 sides, and it's really irrelevant how she sort of got to that. And I think she may largely be correct, if not, then maybe exponentially more so. So there's also then more than just the third way, right? But you can't see it and it can't present itself to you if there's no space. And then if you can't offer first self grace to feel what you're feeling, to be overwhelmed, to be upset, to be grieving, to be anxious, to be ambiguous or uncertain, right? And the grace to allow, the other concept that really came into today's tuning was, I think it's the um, Thich Nhat Hanh's counsel to hold your emotions like a baby, right? Care for them, whatever your emotion is, even if it's your least favorite: grief, anger, loneliness, true panic and fear. Those are so uncomfortable in the body, right? But to hold them like a crying baby. Su, 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 su. That is grace. So often we are prompted to cultivate compassion, sometimes for self, often for others. And there is much potency and beauty in compassion indeed, but grace, right? Grace to me, my working experience of grace, includes compassion. And innately, I think it includes some space sort of already built in. And then it's grace. Grace is the gateway drug to space, right? Because it has a little taste of it already in there. And then there's an allowance, and again, not like grace has some backbone, right? There's no grace allows without having any self-betrayal baked in, right? Grace doesn't have any codependency vibe. Which is a touch tricky, right? Because many codependents will say that they're trying to summon grace, and extend it towards someone else. But if in doing so you're betraying self, then that's codependency and not true grace, right? Because true grace has, to me, grace not only has sort of stature in that grace stands on its own in perpetual offering, but not from the empty cup, right? The other thing about grace is that one can embody grace in motion, right? Grace isn't a destination, and it it doesn't have to be static, right? One can arrive into grace for sure, but grace doesn't have to be static, right? You can be walking grace, you can be acting grace, you can be grace in movement, in thought, in intention. There, good. Yeah, I think the sort of Western English sense of compassion, it's kind of a fine line up on there because you can toggle into just a touch of pity, right? And so even if one is to say to cultivate compassion for self, are you falling into the pity party, the world's smallest violin of self-pity? Whereas grace has no pity in it. Sure. Hooah, mm. Grace is given from a frequency that is wholly unperturbed. When like Susie Miller, who has worked with autistic children and young adults for her whole career, she talks about that little place inside each and every person that is whole and perfect, right? To use Sam Harris's words, is wholly underranged and unperturbed, right? In no way needing nor in any way better than, truly equanimously allowing, right? That is grace. And you can only come from the place inside of you that is wholly unperturbed and is already whole and resides in its own 0 point of perfection and dignity and divinity. And like fully resolved, right? Resolution. So, if humming or doing a slight ujjayi breath helps draw that into the body, really focus on if you can connect sensorially with what I'm transmitting. Good. Because that is how we create space. That is a pause. That is a being present. That is a breath. Therein lies magic, right? Therein lies the middle path, right? The trailhead to the new way, to the unpreviously foreseen or foreseeable avenue of influence, avenue Every direction, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. It's so gentle. The rebalancing of yin that is happening right now, culturally, planetarily, solar systemically, intergalactically. This space and grace hold yin frequencies. So to allow them to cultivate the embodied resonance and cyclical returning and gentle cultivation of these qualities in self and in your lived day. This. Orask on ora at na aska atana a ashwana usma e na hawatene e akanas an etna hot olo e wasan aska an ewata as an osk us utu urot on osk o hetna awa hapne ewa askana orosk orosk. Oroskan oro ot an os owatana awa hasan e hava ha esena utene ewa apene e Ishiwana sana he Ishiwana sahana e turuskana otene wa awa hawa. Oof. Okay, kind of shake it. Sutane. Ooh. Oh, wow. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Breathe through the release. Breathe through the release. You don't have to understand what I'm saying. That is immaterial. Wow. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Es gonna uros an aus e hasen is us. Dire in. Wow. Okay. Okay, it like went up 100 degrees. It's okay. Let it release. It's okay. It is safe. It is safe. So it's gonna oras an haten ewas an el is Sue we Sue. Zero us. Shusunie. 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 Shush. 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 Kiro no oskne e. Ud. Ud in a whoosh. 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 Wow. It's okay. So, Okay. Let's kind of just clear that out a little bit. Wow. Okay. Wow. Good work. Let's take a breath into that. Take another breath. Kind of top it up off at the top. And then let it go. Okay, I'm not yo-yoing the fork around. That is not, it doesn't feel great, but literally I'm going to use my fork like a broom, right? Reminds me of that Joss Stone song, right? Because I'm a good housekeeper. I'm going to take this broom and sweep all of the dirt out in the street. Out in the street. Yes. That's right. Right? Again, back to the binding, right, of that. Okay, and if you imagine truly like an old-timey hemp rope, right? If you, rather than pull and draw and taut and tighten, right, if you sort of push it back onto itself, invariably, right, dust comes out, right? There. Again, we don't have to know exactly what we did, but we can know and sense the space we created. That's right. Because we are good housekeepers, we're gonna take our brooms and sweep all of the dirt. Yes, sir. Phew. Out in the street. Ha ha. That's right. I'll put this out there. Joss Stone, if you want a complimentary Biofield tuning session, I will tune you, girl. Phew. There. Good. Okay, temperature has just about returned to normal. Rivulets of sweat have stopped rolling down the back of my legs. Shocking. Beautiful work. For everyone. Again, I'm filming this exactly when I do. Yes, it is live. Yes, it is July 29th, 2026. Big planetary transits are happening, and whenever you happen upon this video, you receive the transmission. It is exactly at the perfect time and place such that we experience time and place for you to receive that light. Really good. All right. And again, in the perpetual symbiosis, synergistic, symbiotic relationship, yes, we are of Earth. We are on Earth. We are of Earth. We are one with Earth. We are hosted by her. We also absolutely are her children and are her creation and are her lovers and her partners. All of us, all of us, all of us, and the sun and all the planets. Like, it's just all of it. Oh, so that space, that grace, that allowance, that light event horizon that we invited into our fields through this collaboration as divine and directed by me through this offering all together right now, right here. Yeah, that's another baked in innate frequency in grace. It is intrinsically generous, self generous as well as outwardly, right? Internally and outwardly generous and generative. Healing can be generated. Newness, novelty, inception is generated through grace, right? So lovely. So lovely. All right, this is feeling complete. Sometimes through my website, sometimes personally on my phone or via email, sometimes in the comments here on YouTube itself, I will get feedback. This was, if anybody ever wants to share their feedback of having received this transmission, either the receiving of it, like your experience of this tuning, or after the fact, no matter how long, to sort of follow back, man. And then after that, kind of like the house thing, after a year plus looking for a house, all of a sudden, oh, something fell into place, right? That they felt good about, right? Not a push and a, well, this is what we wound up with, right? It was good, right? An appropriate solution emerged, which is so different than sort of arriving at the ratty-tatty end of a harrowing process, right? Those are two different results. Yeah. All right. How to round up. Let's see. Here we go. Nice. All right. I am going to wrap that encoding into the field. Remember to breathe and hydrate. Again, it's hot and it's summertime in real time. And whenever you happen upon this video, remember to breathe diaphragmatically. Breathe and hydrate as you integrate. Yeah, integrate. But even that, isn't that funny? Even integrate is an action and has a sort of drawing in or embedding type action to it, right? Breathe and hydrate as you allow this tuning and accept it into your system and allow it to effervesce throughout your field. There. Let's try that on a Wednesday. I love it. RebeccaCarner.com if you want to reach out and connect and learn more or book a private session or a group session or anything else. Or if you're looking for community, reach out. We're here. I'm here. Until the next. Thank you.